How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I'm going to be going over the absolute most important things you must know when beginning a ketogenic diet. Essentially, how to start a ketogenic diet and feel good and not run into all these problems that so many people fall into. So, number one, a ketogenic diet, by definition, is any diet that puts your body into a state of ketosis. Ketosis is a state where your body begins producing ketones and absorbing ketones. And different protocols can actually make your body produce different amounts of ketones. So, a ketogenic diet, for example, after about 2 weeks, will put on a blood keto meter, like if you're measuring ketones in your blood, a ketogenic diet will put your body, will begin to produce about 0.5 millimolar of ketones to about 2 millimolar of ketones in your blood. Whereas just a regular low-carb diet combined with intermittent fasting and exercise might put your body into a mild state of ketosis where your body's only putting forth like 0.5 millimolar. Anyway, there's different levels of ketosis, and the ketogenic diet will put your body into the most stable and consistent state of ketosis. So that would be keeping your net carbs under 20 grams per day. That will guarantee ketosis. And then after a couple months, your body will be so adapted to burning fat as fuel that you could start to add a little bit more carbs and still stay in ketosis, especially if you're an athlete. Like for me, I can actually eat over 50 grams of net carbs per day and still get a really good reading on my ketometer, my keto meter. MCT oil can also increase ketones, and hard exercise can increase ketones. Fasting can increase ketones. So all of these are tools to increase the amount of ketones in your blood. But the foundation is keeping your net carbs, that means carbohydrate intake minus the fiber and the sugar alcohols, below 20 grams. Or you can just eat under 30 total net carbs per day. Okay? And so that's what I recommend to guarantee ketosis. Once you do that, after about 3 days, your body will have ran out of glycogen. It would burned off all of its glycogen. Then it starts to produce ketones after about 3 days. And when it does this, your body actually excretes all of your sodium and your water and your potassium. In the first week, it's very common to lose about 10 pounds of water weight, okay? And so if you lose about 10 pounds in the first week, it's because your body just dumped all of its salt, all of its potassium, and its water. And so that's what actually causes a keto flu, is your body is actually dehydrated and low on minerals. So if you just drink a bunch of water to replace the water, but you don't get enough salt, enough sodium, enough potassium, and magnesium, and these other minerals, then you're going to have headaches, insomnia, irritability, and mood changes, and muscle cramps, and feeling tired and whatnot. All of this stuff they call the keto flu is mostly because your body's dehydrated of sodium and potassium. And so it's recommended that people take at least, at minimum, 2 grams of sodium per day. And so that's going to be approximately 1 teaspoon worth of extra added salt per day. So you can add as much salt as you want. You're gonna actually have to measure your salt, because people who don't measure their salt intake and then wonder why they have all these problems, it's because they're not getting enough and they didn't measure it to know. So adding a little bit of salt's not enough. The other thing is getting enough potassium. What I do is I take there's a little blue salt shaker in the salt aisle. It's a salt alternative. You can find it on Amazon.com. It is potassium citrate. It is a potassium supplement. You can't find potassium supplements in the right amounts from the supplements section, okay? And you should be probably, work yourself up in small increments. At first, just take about 200 milligrams of potassium like every 3 hours from new salt. Or you can buy Morton's light salt, which is a 50-50 blend, 300 milligrams of potassium, 200 milligrams of sodium, and just take a couple of doses of that throughout the day. But you want to get at least 2 grams of sodium and probably around, I would say 1,000, like 1 gram of potassium. But you got to watch out, as long as you have healthy kidneys, you don't have diabetes or anything like that, potassium supplements should be safe. Otherwise, kale, leafy greens, broccoli, avocados, and also the juices from the meat is going to give you plenty of potassium. But most people actually don't have a potassium problem because the potassium is held on more in your body. Most people have a sodium problem and also possibly a magnesium problem. So taking about 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate in the tablet form before you go to bed will help you sleep, and it'll help heal any kind of magnesium deficiency you might have. And statistics show at least 60% of average people in America eating the average American diet are deficient in magnesium anyway. And people who eat healthy typically don't get enough salt because they cut out processed foods, which is a primary source of salt for most people. And so most people don't get enough sodium anyway, which is required for heart function and other things. All the symptoms of potassium deficiency are very similar to sodium deficiency as well. So getting enough sodium and potassium and keeping your net carbs under 20 grams per day is the main thing you need to worry about. So beyond that, your exercise performance should normalize after about 2 weeks. For me, I actually had an improvement immediately when I started keto. But the problem is most people are afraid of protein. If you're not getting at least 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight, okay, that means your body weight minus your body fat percentage, then you will feel fatigued. Your exercise performance will suffer. Do not be scared of protein. Protein is not going to kick you out of ketosis, although limiting protein can increase the amount of ketones in your blood. But if your goal is to just lose fat, increase your muscle, feel amazing, then you shouldn't care about your ketone reading, because restricting protein is going to that's what prevents people from increasing muscle on a keto diet. Okay, it's not a keto diet or a low carb. It's not a carb deficiency. People who feel like crap on a keto diet, they're not eating enough protein, they're not getting enough salt, and or you might be eating too much carbs and not even realize it. So you've got to keep your carbs low, because if you're eating even 15 grams over your threshold of carbs, then your body's going to continue to try burning carbs, and you're going to feel low blood sugar a lot of the time. And so you have to keep your carbs under 20 grams, and after about 1 week, you should start to feel better. But you might also be withdrawing from carbohydrates for a while. It is no joke. People your body literally acts like you're withdrawing from a drug when you remove carbs, whether it's whole grains or processed sugar. But processed sugar and high glycemic load carbohydrates, refined carbs, are the worst. You will feel like a drug addict. Most people, they feel like they're sweating out their addiction for weeks, okay? And that can be the case, but after about 1 month, you should start to feel really, really good. You should start to feel like a high, like a keto high. You'll feel really calm. Your insomnia, if you ever had it, should go away. I found that was the case with me, but especially if you know. And another thing is, a lot of people, they have been deficient in salt and deficient in potassium and magnesium for a long time. And so when you go on a keto diet, you're forced to follow your electrolytes. So you start feeling better because of that. And then another thing is, a lot of people don't eat enough protein on an American or a standard diet either. And if you force yourself to get at least 1 gram per pound of lean mass, you're going to notice you feel so much better eating adequate amounts of protein. It is no joke. Electrolytes, protein, and carb intake makes a huge difference. So there are many other things to talk about in regards to ketosis, but these are the very first fundamental ones. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them in the comments section, or follow me on Instagram, Keto Conqueror with a K. Talk to you guys next time.